Good evening, everyone, and welcome to call number 4 of Body Whispering Gift Book Club. Today, we'll start with part 3 of the book, which is A New Way to Heal. So, this book has been it's divided into 3 parts. The first, as the name of the book itself is a new way of seeing, being, and healing. So the first part was a new way to see, a new way to then a new way to be. And the third is a new way to heal. Is it time to take your new awareness to the next level? So are you all guys ready to step into a new level of awareness with your bodies? What if you understood even more about your gift as a body whisperer? What if you could initiate meteoric change in people's lives by being in allowance, by being present with the energy of anything that ails them, and by asking questions? What if you could be the question? And what if you really knew and understood the value of your gift and you weren't afraid to receive? With this, we come to chapter 6, stepping away from empathy, sympathy, and devotion. So, the name of the chapter may surprise some of you because sympathy, empathy, devotion, compassion are considered to be virtues in this reality. But then, if you really want to heal someone, you have to be actually willing to step away from empathy, sympathy, and devotion. Do you know what an empath is? Could you be one? So, most of us here on this call are empaths. Yeah, we would feel pains in our bodies if someone else is going through some uh, hardships, some pains in their bodies. It would occur to us as if it's happening to us. How many of you weep, cry like anything in the movies, emotional scenes when they show up? Yeah, how much do you empathize with those characters in the play, even though you are totally aware that all of it is made up, it is not real, it is just a story? An empath is somebody who has the capacity to heal. So I'm willing to say anyone who has read this far into the book is an empath. As an empath, you have the ability to create change in people's bodies and in their lives. The change you create can happen on a person to person basis and on a planetary level. You are that powerful, that caring, and that much of a gift. Do you sense a however coming up? It's a very friendly one. So do you even acknowledge that you are creating changes on a planetary level? Have you ever given yourself credit for that, for being that powerful? And how much you are going into contradiction of yourself as you hear this? Here's the thing about empaths, and this is not a criticism, just an observation from my years of working with so many and being one. In fact, what I'm about to share is part of the territory of being a body whisperer. And it's something I used to do too. As we looked in chapter 4, in our efforts to help ease the pain and suffering of others, we have the capacity to take that pain and suffering on ourselves. We can do this with the people we care about, the clients we see, and even strangers we meet or pass by in the street. So, do you guys remember in the last call, we had read about this, the tool, who does this belong to? And the example was given about the knee pain, that you may suddenly, while walking, you may feel that knee pain in your legs, and you might be actually feeling the pain of someone else who is walking along or somewhere nearby who is having knee pain, and you would start perceiving their pain in your body. So as an empath, you have the capacity to pull away people's pains and have them in your body. That is your autopilot way of healing others. If Because your body is a healer, so it will take away pains of other people, and you would be at times so happy that you could provide them some comfort, to your clients, to your loved ones, to people whom you just care about so much. But then what happens? Be with that and see that does it actually heal the other person. It can happen with psychological symptoms too. Have you ever been around someone who is feeling depressed and you notice a wave of sadness overwhelm you just as they start to feel better? You took on their pain. On the one hand, you are doing something amazing. You are healing people. Those who come to you for change are thrilled because you have given it to them. But on the flip side, it's temporary change. Their pain will come back. Okay, so you may temporarily heal them, but then that doesn't give them a permanent healing. Why? Because they didn't choose to give it up. You took it away. Even though you did it from a place of caring, the key element is that you were led by sympathy, empathy, and devotion. And through, though you may never have realized it or played with this idea before, empathy, sympathy, and devotion are all superior points of view. Why? Because they place you above the person you are working on. So you feel that you are more powerful than them. ये बेचारे इतना सफर कर रहे हैं, लाओ इनकी तकलीफ मैं ले लेती हूँ या ले लेता हूँ. So it's a superior point of view that you can take the pain, you can bear it, but they cannot, and they are not powerful enough to like mm, go over that pain themselves. When you empathize or sympathize with someone in pain and you devote yourself to taking that pain away, you are making you the most powerful person in the interaction. So, some places, Gary even says that you make yourself God. You feel that as if you are the God whose responsibility it is to take away everyone's pain. Yeah. You are the one with the cure, the antidote, the remedy, and the other person needs you in order to feel better. So, everything that brought up, will you please now destroy and uncreate at all times the God's alien? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pop, all nine shorts, boys, bobats, and beyonds, and everywhere you have been playing this role of empathy, empathetic, sympathetic, devotional healer. Will you please now destroy and uncreate all of that, and all of the oaths, vows, swearings, fealties, formalities, commitments, binding and bonding contracts that you have made in any lifetime to be the empathetic healer, curing the whole of the planet. Will you please now revoke, recant, resign, reclaim, denounce, renounce, destroy, and uncreate all of that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and walk, all nine shorts, boys, bobats, and beyonds. The gift of choice. Realize that your job, your gift as a body whisperer is to empower people to make a different choice. And that is the key to their true healing. So you don't just take away their pains and make them feel good. You have to actually be that space, be that invitation and inspiration where people feel empowered to make a different choice. You, just by being you, allow them to become aware of a different possibility. Now, the tools to assist you with that are coming to you in this chapter and throughout the book. But for now, I would just like you to start to recognize this because it is actually quite a radical point of view in healing. And it is one that allows for so much more change to occur. When you take on someone's pain or suffering, you are actually taking away their autonomy and power to choose to let go of it themselves. Choice is the key to healing, and it is your client's choice that unlocks the door to their greater pain free life. I believe we are living in an era where we are required to empower people. And you, with your capacity to empower people to choose something different, are a rare and wonderful breed. You have heard the age old adage, if you give someone a fish, they will eat for a night. But if you teach them to fish, they can feed themselves for the rest of their days. This is what you are doing, empowering people to be well, to be happy, to be fulfilled for their entire lives, not just while you temporarily take their pain away. So, I always invite people like after if they after a few sessions that they have taken with me, and if they are feeling better, if they are like finding new possibilities in different areas of their lives, I always invite them to attend a workshop, a class, so that they are empowered to heal themselves and their families. So if you haven't taken an access bars class yet, if you haven't taken a foundation class yet, or some one of these 3 days body class, please go ahead and attend the class in your city with the facilitator that is available to you. Just choose and become a different energy for yourself and for the people in your around you. And here is the key. If you show someone that they have the power to choose, to change whatever is going on for them, awesome. If they choose not to change it, still awesome. So, being in allowance, it's people's choice. Even after you have given them all the tools, even if you have shown them all the possibilities, still they have to walk their path. It is their life's journey. They have to make a different choice and be willing to show up, be willing to take a different trajectory in their lives. Whenever they would be choosing it, they will, whether in this lifetime or some other lifetime. Still, wonderful. You have done a great job. You are not wrong. If they don't choose to heal themselves, this means you don't punish you, you don't chastise them, and you don't get mad at the world and give up on being a body whisperer because of the injustice and frustration of it all when someone doesn't choose consciousness and change. So many of us, we would, like, this is the case with many of our parents. We actually, how many of us chose our parents because we wanted to heal them? We chose to be born to them. And when you find that you cannot change them, Whatever, however you may persuade them, whatever you may show them that there is a different possibility, they don't want to come out of their crap. And when you get like, there is the like a point when you may want to realize that you have to get into allowance of them. It's their choice afterward. It's not your responsibility to change people. Even when you have someone on your table who you care about and feel connected to, someone you totally get, someone you really, really want to help, taking on their problem is not going to work ever. Your gift is to inspire people to choose change for themselves. In short, it's not about you. I have seen so many gifted healers get stuck in a cycle of judgment when their clients don't choose to change. Honestly, I have seen it 100 times over. If this feels familiar at all, please run this clearing. Everything you have been doing to create the wrongness of you as a healer, the wrongness of you as somebody who facilitates change, and the wrongness of you as somebody who can't do it enough for enough people in a short enough amount of time to actually change the world in the way you know is possible. Will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pork, all nine shorts, boys, bobats, and beyonds. Once more, everything you have been doing to create the wrongness of you as a healer, the wrongness of you as somebody who facilitates change, and the wrongness of you as somebody who can't do it enough for enough people in a short enough amount of time to actually change the world in the way you know is possible. Will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pork, all nine shorts, boys, bobats, and beyonds. Here's how you be the energy. Your gift is to be with your clients with no judgment, from a place of total caring, and to see the brilliance and beauty of them. So you don't judge your clients even when they are not choosing to change and heal. That is your gift for to be with them. You hold that space of no judgment for them. Be there as a space of being that is totally vulnerable. Be willing to walk through any of the trials and travails they have had or are having. Be a source for a greater possibility and support and nurture them to recognize that they have the power to choose. This way of being with people creates a change unlike anything else I know. Things will shift in their life, their body, their world, their psyche, and psychology that previously seemed impossible. And it all stems from you practicing away from empathy, sympathy, and devotion, and instead choosing to be the awareness that they can overcome anything. So you see them as powerful, infinite beings in front of you who can make a different choice and change anything in their lives. Yeah. So that is that space of empowerment. Not and you walk away from being like that empathetic, sympathetic, devotional healer for them. See those you work on as the greatness they aren't able to see in themselves. So you see in them the greatness that they are not able to see in themselves. It is not about saying it in words. It is a space beyond words. Words, especially compliments, are so often rejected anyway. So you don't have to appreciate them. You don't have to give them a compliment. No, none of them is required. That would be actually, they will not be able to receive it. Instead, you just know it, you just acknowledge it within yourselves, and they will get that energy. Instead, you be the energy of the awareness of how great they are. And at the same time, you be the awareness of the energy of everything you yourself have overcome. When you are the awareness of the energy of everything that is truly possible, you give your clients the power to shift and change their entire world. The shifts and changes you enable them to create are absolutely phenomenal. Some would even call them miraculous. So, this is something that you can take on with any of the healing practices that you are doing. Like, be that space for your clients. For those of you who are taking the journey to be becoming a facilitator, this is like something phenomenal that you can create with your class participants as well. And you show them this space, how they can hold that space for their clients. So, any questions before we go to the next chapter, healing with chaos? All clear? All good? Great. So, chapter 7, healing with chaos. When you think about how disease affects the body from a biological point of view, what images come to mind? So, think about some near and dear one, or you yourself, someone who is going through a disease, an illness, an ailment. What does it from biological point of view, what comes to your mind about their bodies? That there is something wrong going on with their body, right? There is a right way in which body has to function, how the various systems of the body, they like, no, all the processes, the digestion, the respiration, and everything has to go through, and how it is not going correctly in their body. So there is like an it's not in order, right? Something has gone out of order with their bodies. That is the biological point of view that we have bought from this reality about diseases and illnesses. When you visualize an illness or virus taking hold of the organs, the bones, the cells, do you get the impression that the body is under attack in some way? That something unruly and anarchic is disrupting an ordered system. So virus has attacked it, the cancer has attacked the cells of the body, and something unorderly is now happening. If you do, it is because that is the general consensus, and it is the point of view held by the majority of professionals who practice medicine and study disease. We have picked up on that point of view to the extent that when we talk about the effects of a virus or an infection or a condition such as cancer, we often use language that conjures the sense that something chaotic is going on and something is challenging the status quo and peacefulness of our bodies. Even like old age, menopause, all these are like attacks that are happening on this body, which is changing the like the uh, orderly processes of this body. I bought into this point of view too. Chaos is bad, order is good. Those staple beliefs formed my understanding about the nature of disease for most of my adult life. In fact, it is only in the past 5 years that I have accessed the awareness that something else is going on. And I'm so glad to be sharing it with you because honestly, it is a game changer. I always assumed that because I was interested in consciousness and greater possibilities. It was my job to bring order to the chaos of this world. I had the idea that order is what brings peace, while chaos brings unrest, turmoil, and destruction. And that is what we also assume. Like when there should be like the government, when the government is in place, the all the administrative systems are in order, the military, army, navy, all are functioning, like we can be at peace, everything is in order, right? And if there is like is if there is a civil war, if there is an anarchy, then there is something chaos that is going on, there is something wrong, and we have to be careful, we have to be at guard, we are under attack. And then the veil was lifted and I got a totally new awareness. Chaos is a creative force which acts as a major catalyst for change. Chaos is where the freedom and the possibility lies. Now, this awareness was a bit of brain fry when it first came into my world. Have you noticed how things that challenge your beliefs often are? And how many of you are right now wondering how can chaos be constructive? How can it create more possibilities? How can it give us freedom? It actually limits us, right? Then when I began instituting it in my practice, it started changing everything. So how did it come into my world? As it often does, with a question, or in this case with a lot of questions. So when you ask questions, what gets created is a chaos. About 5 years ago, I had a particular client, and the energy with this person was so heavy, so heavy, and so solid. I just couldn't get him to a place where he would resolve it, and I was frustrated. I started asking, I wonder what would it take to change this? This question, by the way, is a great tool for those people you work on who are having real difficulty changing, or even with yourself. If there is some area of your life, some situation that is not changing despite all your efforts, just keep asking, what would it take to change this? Keep asking that. Be with that question. We will revisit this question and others in a few chapters when we look more closely at the amazing change that questions can initiate with your clients. I was talking the situation out with Carrie as we do and sharing my frustrations. Among the questions we conjured were, I wonder what would it take to change this? I wonder what I would have to ask this person. I wonder what they would have to get the awareness of. We already knew that everywhere a person couldn't change, whether it was a disease, whether it was depression, or a fixed point of view with money, a fixed point of view with relationships, a fixed point of view with anything in their lives. They had ordered their reality into existence to such a degree that it wasn't movable anymore. So they had actually solidified their points of views. It had become so concrete, so hard, so heavy that could not be moved. There was no change possible over there. But it wasn't until we went beyond that awareness by asking, if those are order, what would it take for change to occur? If that was order, if that solidification is was when everything was kept in order, as if like when you create a structure, say of a building, you put those like they put the bricks in order, Then we put the plaster and the concrete, the cement and everything, and you solidify that structure so that it cannot be moved. Even with earthquake, it has to be so solid that it won't move and it won't fall down, right? So then, like that is what a solid structure looks like. It cannot be changed, it cannot be broken down, it cannot be brought down, it cannot be like made into something else. So that kind of order, when we have with our points of views, with our belief systems, with our judgments about our bodies or anything else in our lives, then it gets solidified into something which cannot be easily changed. And then with this question, if those are ordered, what would it take for change to occur? In a heartbeat, we got one word: chaos. It was so light. It was so light, I couldn't deny it. And it was so light, I just started laughing. So, the greatest teacher for all of us, one who teaches us consciousness is Mother Earth and nature. Can you see like how Earth behaves? When it has to be changed, the chaos would come in the form of natural calamities. There would be an earthquake and everything would change, a tsunami, a storm. Easy peasy. Yeah. That is what chaos is. But then we judge it that there is something wrong that is happening. No, that is nature's way of changing things, of bringing like more consciousness, facilitating more consciousness on the planet Earth, to maintaining balance.
Tasneem, I have a question.
Let me just a minute, Amrita. We had this, like, great example during the COVID, how things changed for the skies to get bluer, for animals to breathe, for birds to again take back their natural habitat, which we had taken away from them. We had so much abused the animal kingdom. Yes, Amrita.
Tasneem, can you talk a little more about chaos, as in chaos in our lives also is it's a blessing?
It's a blessing, it's a contribution.
Acha. Okay. Like anybody after us also is a contribution. Somebody's after us.
That's a judgment. Somebody is after us is a judgment.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
People have so
So,
much, that is making myself like too important. I'm so significant that the other person does not have time to live their own life and they are after me.
okay.
Mhm.
So it is a judgment.
Truth, is it a judgment? If it is heavy, it is a judgment. When you say somebody is after me, that person is after me, is it light for you or is it heavy?
Heavy.
Anything that is heavy is a lie. So it's a lie.
Okay. Okay.
So what would it take for this to change? That is the best question. What
Okay.
would it take to change this? What I would have to ask this person? The same questions. What it would take to change this? What would I have to ask this person? What they would have to get the awareness of? And
Okay.
what would I have to get the awareness of? They and I, both. If it is in a relationship between two persons, what would happen? We have to get the awareness of, both of us.
Okay.
Hmm? So, like the same
Okay.
questions you can use for relationships as well as with the body. And there is more about chaos that is coming, Amrita. So just be in question. See what shows up.
Okay.
See what the book has
Okay.
to give to you. What
Okay.
in here has to give to you. Just
Okay.
listen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. 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 Yes.
I realized I had spent a massive portion of my adult life trying to bring order to the world and people's bodies when chaos is the key ingredient which allows freedom and possibilities. So stop bringing in order. So order is like how things should be arranged, properly arranged होना चाहिए हमारे घर में भी, हमारी life में भी. If they are in a relationship to me, how if that person is in my sister, how they have to be behave with me. If they are elder sister, if they are like if this person is my child, how that child has to behave with me. That is like bringing order. We try to bring that order, how they have to respect me. Yeah. So what if we could allow chaos in our lives, in every field, in every area of our lives, without going into judgment and allow that change? When we are in allowance of them, okay, they are doing this, fine. Do I have to be controlled? No. I can make my own choices. They can make their own choices. With that one awareness, so much lightness came into my world and it shifted how I saw almost every client relationship I had at that time. And many of my non client relationships also. You know how once you start seeing things from a different place, you start seeing everywhere where this new awareness might apply. I could see that every client scenario where I had been stuck and unable to contribute a change had its roots planted in order. And when I reflected on any change I had ever created for clients up until this point, whether they were stuck and fixed physically, emotionally, financially, in their relationships or in their bodies, it didn't matter. Every time change was created, it was created by introducing chaos. So, if any area of your life, and if any disease in your body is not changing, ask for more chaos to be instilled and allow the change. Be in allowance. Ask for the chaos and then just shut up, push down your barriers, expand, and allow the change without going into judgment. Why is this happening? You ask for that change. Chaos is creative. A lot of people misidentify chaos as havoc. Yeah, HAVOC, havoc. जहाँ पे ना बिल्कुल like havoc is where everything is unorganized. Like chaos has organization to it. It's organized in some way. But havoc is totally like disorganized. It's like कहीं पे भी कुछ भी पड़ा हुआ है, मतलब सबकी चीजें अस्त व्यस्त हैं. That is not chaos. So order is where things cannot be changed. Chaos is kind of an organization or a system in which things are malleable, movable, flexible. They are organized, but they can be changed. They can be moved about. एज इफ लाइक लीगो के एक हमने बनाया कि पूरे ये पत्थर की और उसकी हमने दीवारें खड़ी कर दी, उन पे प्लास्टर कर दिया, स्ट्रक्चर बना दिया. It cannot be changed, right? So that is like order. And imagine you putting on those Lego blocks and then making a house. Yeah, or putting on those like wooden logs का घर बनाया, उसको आप कितना आसानी से चेंज कर सकते हैं. आई डोंट लाइक दिस स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ दिस हाउस एनीमोर, आई वांट टू चेंज इट. You will pull away those blocks, arrange them in a different manner, and you have a new like format of the house. Do you get me? That is chaos. That is instilling chaos. You are dismantling the old, you are rearranging the pieces of your life and creating something new out of it. It is a creative force. It's not like it's not havoc. Havoc is a destructive force that always creates less in people's worlds. Chaos is a creative force for change that always creates more in people's worlds. It is a dynamic distinction and one that can come as a huge eye opener. A couple of years ago, a hurricane hit my neighborhood and flooded my house with 3 feet of water. This hurricane was big international news. According to a lot of news outlets and the opinions of my neighbors and concerned friends and family members, this hurricane brought total chaos. It damaged homes, cut power lines, closed businesses. For me, it definitely brought me a headache, and the cleaning up and restoration required a lot of my attention and energy. However, in the rebuilding, my house became greater. I got to make changes I never would have considered if my hand hadn't been forced. I appreciated my home in a new and fresh light. And that's what happens with chaos. It creates a space for change. Even when at first that change appears to be uninvited. I'll read that again. This is very, very profound. Chaos creates a space for change, even when at first that change appears to be uninvited. Look at the COVID, what all changes we all went through. How much of that change was actually phenomenal, so creative. How the businesses changed, how the way the people created their differences in their businesses, if they did, if they were creative enough, those who were smart enough. Yeah. And how the environment changed, how your relationships changed, even with the earth and with the animals and the plants, right? And how much of it was uninvited, but still when we look back, how much of it was actually so required for the earth to breathe and survive. As body whisperers, our job is to restore movement in the form of chaos into people's worlds. So you become the chaos in people's worlds. You become that invitation for change. To unpack another layer of this awareness, let's take a closer look at both order and chaos. So, are you all with me so far? Or is it getting too much for you and your bodies? It's interesting. It's a new awareness. It's opening something for you.
Yes.
Yes. So embrace the chaos, embrace the change. If you are not changing, actually you are dying. Close up on order. So are you willing to close up? Order khatam, chaos shuru. Yeah. Full stop on order. Every judgment is order. Every thought, every feeling, every emotion, every fixed point of view, every projection, every expectation, every separation and rejection. And when your projections and expectations are not met, and you judge yourself and others and the world at large, that is order, order, order. That judge putting on that order, judge, yeah, your critical judge, the critic within you, trying to judge everything and putting order on things. For everything you judge, nothing that doesn't match that judgment can come into your awareness. So when you are judging, actually you miss out on all the awareness, all the creative elements of the chaos that are present. When you judge something, you are only willing to see it as one thing, one solid, sturdy, heavy thing with no capacity to move or change. So when you are judging, you are solidifying it, you are watching it only from a fixed angle, as a single point of view that you have about that situation, about that person, about that thing. You cannot have something else like that. You cannot receive the full awareness, a holistic view, a bird's eye view of the situation. It doesn't mean that something else beyond it doesn't exist. It means all you are willing to see is the thing that matches your judgment and matches the rightness of your judgment. So you become the righteous bitch. Anytime you have to be right, you are doing order. I am the right one. मुझे पता है कैसा होना चाहिए, क्या होना चाहिए. I'll let the world know. I'll tell my near and dear ones, my kids, my everyone, I'm the mother. I'll tell them what is the right way to live. So you become the dictator. Anytime you have to be right, you are doing order. Anytime you have decided you are wrong, you are doing order. Anytime you have to maintain the rightness of your point of view or the wrongness of your point of view, you are doing order. So, because both rightness and wrongness is judgment. What energy are you picking up around the concept of order, by the way? Are you getting a sense of heavy or light? Is it solid or spacious? And what about chaos? When you step away from the idea that chaos is violent or destructive, do you get more of a sense of possibility, space, and freedom around it? So, if you stop making chaos wrong, if you give up your judgment for the chaos in your life, what else is possible over there that you have not yet considered? Close up on chaos. The game changer for me came when I realized that consciousness is actually chaos. Chaos is consciousness in motion. So, chaos is consciousness in motion. Take a moment to think about the natural world, the trees, the plants, the amazing networks of fungi under and over the forest floor. Think of moss, of grass, of the first shoots of a daffodil in spring, mountain ranges, lakes, volcanoes, the sea. In your mind, conjure a sense of the natural world and now feel it in your body. Does it have an intensity to it? Does it have a chaos to it? It's a constant motion. Everything is moving, everything is changing, it's growing. Even the so-called solid atoms in the walls, they in within them, the electrons and protons are moving. So everything is motion. There is chaos. There is nothing at all that exists without chaos, without movement. There is chaos in nature, and it coexists with the smallest element of order possible. So there is chaos with a little element of order, a very little element of order. Chaos is necessary and essential to nature. Only it is never overpowered or contained by order. So, order is not the dominant force. The dominant force is chaos. Only a little order is there to keep things in place. Right? We as humans are the ones with the tendency to over order our natural chaos. So we tend to push order into things. We want to put everything like in a certain way, status quo. We want to maintain status quo. Our bodies need not change, our relationships cannot change. जैसा सदियों से होता आ रहा था वैसा ही होना चाहिए. We fight change, literally. Animals function from the chaos of being able to continuously move and shift based on their changing environment. Look at the migratory birds. They change places as per the season. Again, order is present. And again, it's a minimal amount compared to the chaos. So, order is present in a very, very minimal amount. The order holds their bodies together. So the molecules won't fall apart. It creates that magnetic force, the gravity, to for us to remain on the earth and not like floating away, and the sun and the moon to be in their orbitary fields, right? So that is the only little amount of order that is there in nature. Otherwise, the rest of it is chaos. The order holds their bodies together just like the chaos of a tree, the ocean, and a volcano is held together by a modicum of order. Isn't it beautiful when you see it like this? Look to the skies for more. The stars, the planets, and the dark energy that scientists admit they don't fully understand yet. The sun keeps creating its own energy continuously. It's a wonderful example of chaos held together by order. What if you and your body were as chaotic as nature, as animals, as the sun? And would that be a beautiful, electrifying thing? The energy of being alive. I believe that chaos is your natural state. I'm certain that when you were a baby or a little kid first discovering the world, you did it from a natural chaotic state, either physically with heaps of energy to run, jump, play, touch, try, and taste, or in the realm of your imagination, where your curious nature played with ideas, stories, and concepts and asked a lot of questions. What if you could be like that again? That child who had so many questions was truly curious, with no judgments. Chaos with just a right measure of order to keep us functioning on this beautiful planet. That energy, that intensity of being alive is an intensely chaotic energy, and it is a conscious energy because little kids don't attach a point of view to anything. Where did your chaos go? As chaotic as we may naturally be, that chaos is housed in this reality in a body with a mind attached. So, our mind tries to bring order to everything. It is still there, but it may have dimmed and waned and become muted by the ordered points of view that come in continuously from the world outside. And literally, many a times, in the form of orders from our elders, from our like families, teachers, and everyone else. Most of us are now pretty much mostly solid with a few chaotic pockets. What's a chaotic pocket? Those moments where you feel like you truly have the joy of being you, where you let yourself loose, where you don't push yourself to be in the right way, where you are willing to be actually unstoppable, to be too joyous, laughing out, like जैसे पीट पीट पकड़ पकड़ के हंसते थे जब बच्चे थे तो, right? How many times do we allow ourselves to be that way again? You might laugh outrageously, feel giddy, or feel calm and centered. It's different for all of us. The common element is a beautiful sense of lightness and connectedness to who you truly are. How is this feeling to you? Can you let yourself be a little chaotic? Everything that doesn't allow you to be as chaotic as you truly are, because you decided it was wrong and you were told it was wrong, so you decided you would never be it again. Especially because you are a healer type of person who never wants to do anything bad to anybody, and you decided that if you were chaotic, it was bad, rather than recognizing that your chaos may be the greatest gift you could give everyone you have ever known, everyone you have ever met, and everyone you have ever worked on. Everything that is will you destroy and uncreate it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, bobats, and beyonds. Running that clearing once more. Everything that doesn't allow you to be as chaotic as you truly are, because you decided it was wrong and you were told it was wrong, so you decided you would never be it again. Especially because you are a healer type of person who never wants to do anything bad to anybody, and you decided that if you were chaotic, it was bad, rather than recognizing that your chaos may be the greatest gift you could give everyone you have ever known, everyone you have ever met, and everyone you have ever worked on. Everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Times the gods in here. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shots, boys, boys, and beyonds. So are you guys okay to stay back for another 5 to 10 minutes, so that like only 2 pages left in the chapter? Are we all good to continue?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So where do you, as a body whisperer, come in? There are tools, questions, and suggestions for introducing chaos into your practice in the chapters that follow. Right now, I would love for you to just get the energy of chaos and what it can create in you and in the people that you work with. So, how many of you, when you work with on people, their bodies, they complain that they are feeling so nauseatic, they are having, like they got into fever, उनका पेन तो कम होने की जगह बढ़ गया, right? So, how
Yeah.
much that is that with your healing practices, with the body processes that you do on them, with the when you run their bars, actually their body is from the order, their body is moving into chaos, and they are making it wrong and you make yourself wrong. अरे मैंने कुछ गलत कर दिया इसके साथ में, इसको आराम पहुंचाने की जगह मैंने तो इसको और तकलीफ दे दी, right? But then that is a change that their body is going through. If they can just be with it for say a few days or a week, it will go away and they will step into a new space of joy and peace with their body that they have never experienced before. So, next time when it happens with yourself, with your own bodies, or with someone else's body you are working on, please don't make yourself wrong. You have just introduced some chaos in their world to bring about that change that they have been asking for. You can never do it without their permission, without their choice. Okay, so you haven't imposed something on them. It was their choice, they asked for it, but they had probably not thought that it would come about in this manner. And इस तरह से होगा, how it will show up, they were not aware, and so they are freaking out. And then you have to tell them to like just be with it, have allowance. One of your greatest gifts as a body whisperer is to reintroduce chaos into systems that have been too highly ordered. After all, every disease process is based on order. Order is the slowness that you perceive in the part of someone's body where they have pain, stiffness, or disease. It is the slowness in people who are depressed or sad. It is the slowness that dominates when chaos, that natural flow and movement of energy is absent. When you reintroduce chaos to your healing space, the change you create isn't linear. It goes away. It goes away It goes way beyond an A plus B equal to C way of working with clients. So you create exponential results. It's not linear that A plus B equals C. It may directly become A plus B equal to Z. In chaos, one molecule of change can create an entire universe of possibilities. In chaos, one question can open up an awareness to a totally different world of what might be available. Where order leads to the destruction of possibilities, chaos leads to the destruction of order and the increase of possibilities. By reintroducing chaos to the places that have order, you see people's bodies start moving more freely. You see them get more flexible in their emotional capacities, so they have more emotional fluidity. You see them start to have a sense of joy, a sense of lightness, and a sense of freedom again. Chaos is constant movement and constant flow with no fixed point of view, no judgment of right or wrong, good or bad. It's a movement of energy. Isn't that exciting? Isn't it liberating? Here's to you. Here's to chaos. Here's to consciousness. And here's to the possibilities we together can create. That's the end of the chapter. And in the next call, we'll take up the next chapter, which is chapter 8, congruency. Again, beautiful, beautiful concept and awareness with that chapter. Meanwhile, I would like to inform that I'm going to bring some chaos in the city of Ahmedabad in the month of April. So I have my foundation class coming up from 22nd to 25th of April in Ahmedabad. So any of you who are there who would like to be a part of that chaos, and if you would like to invite your loved ones to this possibility, please let them know. Please inform me and what contribution can we be to the world. Any questions before we close the call? So thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah, Amrita.
The loud noises or the noises, sometimes we hear very loud noises and sometimes a lot of noises we hear. So that is also chaos.
Bean question, Amrita, what is that?
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
if you had no judgments for those loud noises, what you could receive from it?
Okay. Yeah.
If you had no judgments for the people creating those loud noises, what would
Okay.
you receive from those people? If you go into total allowance of those people and those noises, what is
Acha.
possible there that you haven't yet considered?
Okay. Okay. Like so I just do interesting point of view for that, for those noises.
Yes. So when you want to stop those noises, actually what you are trying to bring order.
Okay.
Noises nahi hona chahiye. Noise bura hai. It
Huh.
disturbs me. It disturbs people. It
Huh.
takes away people's sleep.
Huh. Huh.
I have to do
Yes.
something to
And it
bring
happens
order.
in the night only mostly.
I have to do something to bring order in the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just be in allowance of that.
Yes.
Do interesting point of view.
Yes. Meditate
Okay.
on those noises. Listen to
Okay.
each one of them
Okay. Without avoiding them.
without avoiding them. Receive all of them.
Okay.
What is this frequency trying to give to me? What is it inviting me to?
Okay.
Where can my body go with this noise?
Even if it is
And
criticism.
if you didn't judge them as as noise, what melody can you hear in that?
Yeah. And even if Tasneem, it is criticism,
Hmm?
even if those noises include criticism also, if like as if somebody is criticizing me.
Push down your barriers and receive that criticism without judgment. Oh, interesting point of view. They have this judgment for me.
Okay.
Hmm? Hmm.
Yeah.
Every time you receive a judgment as an interesting point of view, you create more money, more possibilities, more
Okay.
awareness, more of an evolution of your spirit. How much of that criticism that you are hearing from others in those quiet places is actually, or in those quiet places where there is noise of this criticism, is your own criticism of yourself? How is it? How much are you, like, just ask yourself, is it a reflection of my own judgment of myself? How much is it being
Okay.
coming so loudly from outside, so that at least now I can get aware of this?
Yeah.
How much of it is a reflection of your own judgment of yourself? And when you give up that judgment of yourself, that outside reflection would just stop. And everything that does not allow you to perceive, know, be, and receive that, will you please now destroy and read it all times accordingly? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, bogats, and beyonds. So I have also introduced Amrita to another beautiful work uh, called Radical Forgiveness, where everything is like everything, when you start to seeing that there is nothing outside, everything is inside. If there is something coming from outside, actually, again, because it is coming from outside, we go and see inside what is happening inside me, that is creating this in my outer world, in my external world. So if there is judgment coming from outside, how much of that judgment you are doing of yourself, Amrita? All those core negative beliefs that you have about yourself, how many of them you need to let go of now?
Yes.
Yeah. So that is a call. What of if all that noise that seems to be a noise because it irritates you is actually a call for you to look at that within yourself and
Yeah.
change it. Let go of your own fears, insecurities, self judgments, and step into more of your greatness, self love.
Mhm.
How much of that is an invitation for you to step into more chaos? Allow
Yeah.
chaos.
Yes.
So if you stop judging it, then you will be able to see the invitation that it can be for a greater you, which you are already highly aware, extremely psychic X-Men, extremely potential X-Men.
Thank you so much for acknowledging Tasneem.
What if you could, what if you didn't require an external validation, Amrita? What if you could see that in yourself?
Yeah.
And everything that does not allow you to perceive, be, and receive that, will you please now destroy and create at all times of God's will?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, bogats, and beyonds.
Thank you so much, Tasneem. Thank you so much.
Looking forward for a body process swap soon with you.
Yes, yes, sure, sure. Yes.
Chalo. Anything else for anyone before we close the call? All good? All doing great? Yeah. So for the next 1 week, before we meet on next Friday, allow more chaos. Anything that is happening chaotically, instead of going into judgment, instead of putting order there, what if you could allow that chaos and see what are the possibilities here? How much change can I receive from this? Yeah. Use the questions, run the clearings, and enjoy. Create more change, more phenomenal life. Okay, bye bye. Good night.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Jasmine.
Bye bye. Good night.
Bye.
Hi, Jasmine.